And for the first time in weeks, you can go to a restaurant and order food and eat it actually right there as long as you're outside.
Yes, this is in South Carolina where things are starting to feel more like normal tonight. We have some video to show you. Look at this, a sight that we haven't seen in a while. People outside simply enjoying this meal outside on the patio at this restaurant. Channel 9's Tina Terry is joining us live from Rock Hill tonight. Tina, have you seen many people taking advantage of the newly loosened restrictions there?
Oh yes, Erica, a steady flow of people have been eating outside of restaurants like the one behind us right here. No crowds to speak of, but some owners who struggled today say that this is a good start. 6 weeks ago, concern over the COVID-19 pandemic forced the owner of Rock Hill's Roasting Company to close its doors.
I just told everybody, hey, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but the best thing you can do right now, I'm going to let you go temporarily, apply for unemployment. I'll push it through as quick and as easily as I can, and then we'll see on the other side of it.
Today, Mitch Grant has reached that other side. He hired about 10 of his old employees back to help customers who dined outside today. Thank you. Across town, other businesses opened their patios and some plan to expand outdoor seating.
It's kind of weird. It's almost like opening day.
There weren't any huge crowds at the restaurants we visited. Most seated 1 to 2 tables at a time, but those who came out were excited to get back to some normalcy.
Really, I think everybody's taking the proper precautions and everything, so I feel pretty safe.
And while there weren't huge crowds, some restaurant owners are confident that more will come with each day that passes.
I think once more people do it and realize that it's okay and see us and others doing it right, I think more people will start to do it.
And we told you earlier today at noon that these restaurants really have to comply with some strict guidelines in order to open up in this way. I asked state officials how they're making sure that that is happening at restaurants. Hear what they have to say tonight at 6 o'clock. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you, Tina, for showing us the view there. Meantime, people in North Carolina might be wondering when they will be able to do that too, eat out. Governor Cooper has a 3-phase plan to reopen, and it could begin to happen as early as this Friday. In fact, today he says that is the date that the state would slowly start to ease restrictions unless something bad happens.
We're still analyzing our indicators, our testing, tracing, and trends, talking with healthcare experts. We're getting a lot of advice from businesses about what we can do.
And the state is still mapping out which businesses would be included in phase 1, and the governor hopes to release those specifics as early as tomorrow. Today, the governor also signed off on some more help that should make a big difference in a lot of lives. 2 state laws signed today that will help more small businesses survive. They will help minority families who are now getting disproportionately hit by this virus and send computers to students who don't yet have them. It'll also pay for research, PPE, contact tracing, and expanded coronavirus testing. Channel 9's Blaine Tollison is mapping out where the money will go.
Governor Cooper and leaders of the General Assembly on both the side of Republicans and Democrats came together for a rare bipartisan appearance, announcing and then signing the COVID-19 relief package totaling more than $1.5 billion. And he said that North Carolina came together for the people of the state when they needed it the most.
And I'll sign 2 bipartisan COVID-19 relief bills.
Governor Cooper signed COVID-19 relief bills from the House and Senate. Together, they're about 100 pages and lay out the $1.5 billion federal dollars to help medical workers, families, students, and business owners.
This is a time that North Carolina has truly come together to fight this disease.
As far as where the money will go, in brief, $150 million will go to local governments in the form of grants, $125 million for small business loans, $85 million to coronavirus research, $50 million for personal protective equipment, and $25 million for testing and tracing. On the small business front, the money comes at a critical time. Majid Amourpour in Belmont, where his cafe is starting to see a few more customers, he received a portion of his loan, but it's not enough to make up for a 60% loss in business.
So we're hoping that we can get the second part of that loan that can help us out make it through.
The bills Cooper signed not only allocate money, they also amend state law and set standards, including loosen restrictions on filing your taxes, creating a process for children who couldn't take a test like the SAT, or creating a plan for a state emergency stockpile of personal protective equipment.
This emergency funding is just a first step. There will be more work ahead. We need it to repair the damage that has been done by this virus and to look ahead at how we can prevent illness in the future.
The state's rainy day fund of $1.2 billion came into discussion after Governor Cooper signed the relief package, and they talked about the shortfall because of COVID-19 being about $4 billion. So leaders will still have to hash out how to get that extra money and then where they're going to spend it. Back to you.
Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on the number of positive cases in the Carolinas this week as, of course, South Carolina is opening up restaurants and businesses once again. North Carolina moving closer to phase 1 as well this week. And in North Carolina, there are 11,848 cases in 99 of 100 counties. The only county without a positive test right now is Avery County. The state has completed 146,439 tests, so the vast majority of people getting tested are coming back negative for the virus. South Carolina reporting 131 more cases since yesterday and 8 more deaths. Now the state has more than 6,700 cases of COVID-19. The state has tested more than 67,000 people. 341 have been in the hospital for the virus. The state's website says about 78% of patients they have recovered.
And one patient who has recovered is Pageland's police chief. Chief Craig GREENLEE returned to work today after quarantining at home since late March. Our South Carolina Bureau reporter Greg Suskin stayed in touch with him during his illness and went to Pageland to talk to him in person today.
Police Chief Craig GREENLEE here in Pageland is one of those types of guys that just never gets sick. He last remembers getting the flu as a teenager. So when he started coming down with symptoms of COVID-19, he knew something was different.
I felt isolated as if I were on an island.
That was life for Craig GREENLEE for the last 5 weeks. He knew something was wrong, but says no one would test him for coronavirus because he didn't meet all the criteria. That took another week.
It's taken me till Thursday to get the test. And I'm telling them something's wrong. And it's like nobody was listening.
He had already left the town's police department to his officers and decided to stay home. The fever, cough, and struggle to breathe soon followed.
The tightness comes, and it's like somebody putting a belt around your chest and you can't hardly breathe.
GREENLEE did not have to go to the hospital, though there were times he felt like he should. He's grateful his symptoms were not as severe as others. He credits his officers and sheriff's deputies who stepped up while he was out, and his wife for getting him through it.
My wife, Maria, I love her very much. She made my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She took care of me.
Fortunately, no one else at the department got sick, and his family didn't either. As alone as he felt sometimes, he says, you got to be hopeful.
Whatever it starts to hand you, just stay positive, pray to God, stay faithful.
Of course, I asked the chief just where he might have got this virus from. He told me he's racked his brain about that. But back when he got sick in late March, social distancing was not being practiced quite as much. So he said he just doesn't know. He's just glad to be back. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks to him for sharing his emotional story. Glad he's back. Breaking news coming in just the past hour. We've learned that UNC Charlotte is going to push back the start of its fall semester. University officials say they chose to start the semester on September the 7th, 2 weeks later than originally planned. The university is saying that it has factored in things like being located in North Carolina's largest city. It says pushing back the start date will allow additional time between the projected peak of the virus and the start of classes. University officials say they know students have a lot of questions about this, including about whether classes are going to be in person. They say they don't have all the answers now, but they're working to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe. This year's graduation is on pause, but it still holds a special meaning for one mother and daughter. Coming up at 5:45, what pushed the mother to go back to school after 10 years?
Lawmakers in Washington are planning for another financial relief package. But right now, the president says any plan must include cutting the payroll tax. So the question is, what would that cut look like? Action 9's Jason Stujenki has been looking into the impact that would have, of course, directly on your paycheck. Jason?
Yeah, well, Scott, simply put, cutting payroll taxes puts more money in your pocket, not the federal government. You have to remember, if you look closely at your paycheck, you'll see payroll taxes cover things like Social Security and Medicare. Your employer also pays payroll taxes. That's another 6.2% of your income. But how much you get back in each paycheck depends on how much the president would like to reduce payroll taxes. Now, you have to remember, we had a 2% cut back in 2011 under the Obama administration. But, here's an example we can give you, and I know it doesn't really relate to a lot of people, but I'll give it to you anyway. If you make $137,000 a year, you get $2,700 back.
There are some very good ways of getting the money out and getting it out quickly. Payroll tax is one way.
Now, a lot of Democrats do not like the plan. They say a lot of people obviously lost their jobs, so they don't have paychecks to even deduct this from. Guys?
Yeah, and for those, though, who would get the benefit, every dollar helps out at this time. Thanks, Jason.